6:30 p.m. and the Louisville Planning and Zoning Commission meeting of May 21st, 2013 is now called to order, and there is a quorum present. First item of business is the approval of the minutes of the May 7th, 2013 meeting. If there are no corrections, may I have a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
I make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Motion by Brent, seconded by Steve. Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item 3 is a consent agenda plat. It's the final plat of McDaniel Soccer Edition, lots 1 and 2, Block A. It's a 22.364 acre tract, zoned light industrial. It's located on the east side of Valley Ridge Boulevard, south of Business State Highway 121. Jay?
Good evening, Commissioners. This final plat has been reviewed by staff and meets all city requirements. Staff is currently reviewing a site plan for a soccer complex on this property. Staff is recommending approval of the plat.
Okay, Commissioners, discussion? Questions for Jay? Okay, then may I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve.
Motion by Brent,
Second.
seconded by Steve. Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is a public hearing for consent agenda plats. There are two. We'll read them both together, be discussed together and voted on as one after the public hearing. 4A is the final plat of National Indoor Storage Edition, Lot 1R, Block A. It is a 11.719 acre tract. It's zoned light industrial L1. It's located on the east side of Business State Highway 121, just north of McDowell Street. Jay? McDonald Street.
How about McDowell?
You just read the first one, right? Okay. The final plat for National Indoor Storage Edition has been reviewed by staff and meets all city requirements. This plat is a replat and is to combine two parcels into a single parcel. Staff recommends approval.
Okay. Questions on this for Jay? Okay, item 4B is the final plat of Hebron Lake Point Edition, lots 1 through 4. Block A is a 6.281 acre tract. It is zoned general business GB, located on the south side of Hebron Parkway and Lake Point Drive. Jay?
This plat has also been reviewed by staff and meets all city requirements. And like the first one, this is also a replat, and this one is to reconfigure 4 lots. Staff is recommending approval.
Commissioners, questions? Okay, at this time we'll open up a public hearing to address both A and B. If anybody in the audience wishes to step forward and speak on behalf of either one of those, please do so and sign in and state your name. Okay, having no one come forward, the public hearing is now closed. Commissioners, additional discussion? Okay, may I have a motion on this subject, both of them together?
Make a motion to recommend approval for item 4A and B.
Motion by Karen,
Second.
seconded by Brent. Those in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Item 5 is a regular hearing on a plat. It's a preliminary plat of High Point Oaks Estate, having an 86 single-family residential lots zoned estate townhouse, ETH. It is on 21.245 acre tract, bounded by Vista Ridge Mall Drive to the north, the city limit line of Louisville and Capel to the south, and Denton Tap Road to the west, with one requested variance. Jay? Or Jeff on this one.
All right, good evening. This property was originally rezoned from LI, or light industrial, to estate townhouse zoning. The developer is telling us that the lots and homes will conform to the requirements of the detached product for the ETH zoning, with one variance to waive the alley requirement. The GDO, or the General Development Ordinance, does require alley access for all new single-family subdivisions. The developer wishes to waive the alley requirement completely. The reasons stated here are the depth of the property is a reason, and also the topographical difference of 28 feet from Vista Ridge Mall Drive to the south property line. And staff is recommending approval of the plat with variance.
Questions for Jeff? Okay, at this time, we'll open up the public hearing. Thank you, Jeff. Anyone wishing to speak on this subject, please step forward. All right, having no one come forward, the public hearing is now closed. Commissioners, any more additional discussion? If not, may I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Second?
All right. Motion by Steve, seconded by Brent. Those in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 6 is reports. Paisha?
Good evening, Commissioners. Paisha Boomsma, Planning Administrator. I'd like to start by first announcing that following this meeting, there will be a Brownfields Advisory Committee meeting and then a Transportation Board meeting. So got a lot of meetings to take care of this evening. If we do not have a laptop with us this evening, I apologize, but we do have the packet, or we do have the Vision 2025 presentation as part of your packet. So if you could scroll to where that begins, I believe it's page 16, I think, of your packets, and follow along there. That would be great. Right. By now, I'm sure many of you have heard that Louisville is engaged in what we're calling the 2025 Vision Plan. This is an all-encompassing effort throughout the city to basically decide what we want to be for the foreseeable future. 2025 doesn't seem like it's that far away, maybe 12 to 13 years, but we think it's a reasonable time frame in which we can get a significant amount of things accomplished. The plan will start out tonight with talking about the council-directed purposes and outcomes, go over the vision's results and what your involvement could be, talk about the overview of the process and what steps we'll go through to make this reality, and end with some questions and discussion. Right, the purpose. Like I mentioned, this plan is intended to set a course for the city over the next years to come and beyond. Get a reflection of what the actual community members and people that have a stake in the community want it to be, what they think the issues are, what they think is good about the city, what the challenges are, and how those could potentially be overcome. This will provide us with not only a benchmark of where we are right now, but also a direction in which to prioritize our future goals and our limited resources, such as staff time and money and spending. And it'll also provide a list of items, kind of like a to-do list that you can tick off one by one as they get accomplished. Why 2025? Besides being a nice round number or a nice benchmark, it's going to be our 100th birthday. So when Louisville is a century old, we would like to have a clear idea of where we've been and where we're going. This will also culminate in a large celebration that we also hope to use as kind of the end of the century celebration. We've done this before. We've engaged in many, many long-range planning efforts over the past several years that have really helped Louisville and kind of framed where we're going. But the purpose of the vision plan is to incorporate these all together and even go beyond what we've done in these small area plans. Some examples of what we've gone through are, with regard to parks, the Trails Plan was just recently adopted in 2011 that shows connectivity all through the city and for hiking, biking. We've got the Railroad Park, which I'm sure you're all familiar with, 269 acres. Both the aquatic parks in Louisville, East Hill Park, and also the 60,000 square foot library expansion. In Old Town, we've undertaken quite a bit of revitalization. We've adopted the Old Town Master Plan in 2002 and utilized a facade improvement program very successfully to really make sure that a lot of these buildings, particularly in the Center District, are restored to what they previously were in the turn of the century condition. We've also established a TERS to make sure that there's funding in place for Old Town businesses, and that so there would be some funds there to use for the revitalization of that area. Who should be involved in this effort? We hope anyone. You don't have to just be a resident or a business owner. Anyone who has a stake, if you do business here, if you play here, if you have any type of interest in Louisville, we want your input and we want you involved. There's a saying that vision without action is a daydream, but action without vision is a nightmare. And that's basically getting to the point that without something to aim towards, we're sure to miss. Some of the plans that you may be familiar with that have been successful throughout history, the Chicago Plan, which really led the way as far as big master plans for cities in terms of transportation, housing, culture, and preservation of open space. If you visited, all of that big park along Lakeshore Drive is one example of what was done through the Chicago Plan. And you can see how that's really benefited the city throughout history. On a much smaller scale, Fredericksburg, Texas, which I'm sure you're also familiar with, they've done an excellent job of kind of maintaining their heritage and culture while still becoming quite the tourist attraction. The approach that we are hoping to take for this effort would be beginning with the vision, a very large and probably more vague vision, then narrowing that down into goals, then further defining those into strategies, and then finally ending with specific implementation measures that we have to take to achieve these. We're led by a consultant team. Friesen Nichols in Fort Worth is the primary consultant, and they are over Catalyst, which is going to be in charge of mostly retail and economic development efforts. Strategic Community Solutions is heading up the public involvement aspects, and then Townscape is our urban designers, and they will be in charge of our charrette projects. And a charrette is basically where you draw out or sketch out ideas, so it's more of the physical aspects of what we want to see. We're envisioning that this process will take about 15 months and be accomplished in three key phases. The first would be data gathering and engagement, which we are in right now. And the kickoff for that is kind of the Big Ideas Workshop. That's going to be held on June 4th at the MCL Grand from 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock. From 4 to 6 is kind of an informal meet and greet, and you can look around. We'll have a lot of information and videos and things going on. And then from 6 to 8 are when the speakers and the actual activities will begin. We're going to follow those up with 2 big idea gatherings, June 19th at the Senior Center and July 18th at the Municipal Annex. So that will be similar to what the Big Ideas Workshop is, just on a smaller scale. And you can attend any and all of those, or if you could just make one, that's great too. We're reaching out to the high schools in concert with the Urban Land Institute to make sure that we get their involvement, particularly looking for some of the older high school students to provide some input. Also, corporate outreach. That'll probably kick off in July of this year, and it will be headed up by Paris Rutherford of the Catalyst Group, and also Jason Klonch, whose company is currently doing a retail analysis of our city. We do have a website. It's up and running. If you go to the cityoflouisville.com homepage, in the lower left-hand corner, the Spotlight project is the 2025 vision. And under that link, you can find many things. Surveys. There's 2 surveys, one long, one short. The long one is kind of provide all the information you want to provide. And the shorter one is more of a select which item you like best. So you can do either or one, whichever your preference. Background information, videos, and presentations. We'll let you know about all the upcoming events that we've got planned so far, how you can participate, and then also we have a committee application. We will be taking applications probably through midsummer, and what we're envisioning is that the feedback we get out of the Big Ideas Workshop and the gatherings will be used to devise maybe 5 to 7 different committees that will focus on specific topics such as transportation, housing, code enforcement, economic development. Not sure what those are yet because, again, they will come out of the feedback we receive from these Big Ideas gatherings. So if you are interested in any capacity in participating in this process of what you'd like Louisville to look like in the foreseeable future, I would highly recommend that you go on and fill out an application and get involved. We're anticipating that there will be approximately 8 to 10 meetings that will occur probably through August through January. That's the collaboration and analysis phase. So that's when we're going to turn things over basically to the committees and let them determine what the important aspects of their specific items are, create baseline information, and then come back with recommendations. We're anticipating a charrette in October. And like I mentioned, that'll focus on more sketches and physical attributes of the city. Also in August through January, we're planning on having an Exploring the Vision workshop. It's kind of a checkpoint, so we can see what's been done so far and what's still left to do. So come November, we feel like there should be a pretty good idea of where the committees have been and what still needs to be accomplished, so we can check in and make sure everything's getting done in a timely fashion. Recommendations. Hoping those will take place next February through May. So by next spring, we hope to take these recommendations from the committees forward to the City Council and somewhere in that time frame obtain final adoption of the plan. The implementation action items, they will be prioritized, time-specific. They will designate who's responsible, who maybe our partners are, and they will also analyze what kind of return on investment do you think we'll get out of this. Obviously, we'd like to focus on things that have a good return on investment. Again, we need you. This effort will be successful if the people who know about Louisville and care about Louisville participate. You are the ones that have the expertise and the specific knowledge about different areas, such as real estate or business ownership, our utilities. So we definitely are looking for your input. Some other items that we might need your insights on are thoughts about I-35 expansion, redevelopment, what the market opportunities potentially could be here, arts and culture, tourism, and pretty much anything else you can think of. We hope to gain all these ideas and these suggestions through your dialogue with others. So getting together and brainstorming and coming up with what you think are the best and most important areas to focus on. 3 specific requests are to go on the website and subscribe to the social media and use the other tools that we have to provide input. Go to the June 4th Big Ideas Workshop if you are able, and serve on the committees. That's all. I'll be happy to answer any questions I can at this time.
How large do you see the committees be? How many people normally on a committee? of
You know,
this
we
kind?
haven't defined that yet, and I would say probably no larger than maybe 10. I would think that would be an optimal size so that you can really get things done, but you still get a diverse sample.
As far as, if we've already signed up for a committee, when will we know, or how will they go through that selection process?
Council will determine who is on each committee. So after we have the Big Ideas Workshop and it becomes clear what areas that the citizenry is hoping to focus on, Council will go through all the applications we received and pair up people who are best suited to serve on each committee. Hopefully.
How many meetings, again, did you say the committees would have on average?
We're thinking 8 to 10.
8 to 10?
So you can tell we're excited about being on the committee.
Yes, this is great. You're exactly the type of people that we're hoping will be on the committees.
So Karen over here shaking her head going,
Anything else for Paisha on this subject?
No? All right.
All right,
Well, I
thank-
hope we see you all.
Thank you
Go
very
ahead.
much.
Did you have something, Mr. Byers?
No.
Okay. Well, we hope to see you all on the 4th.
Okay.
Thank you.
At this time, we're going to adjourn the P and Z meeting and open up the Brownfields meeting, which isn't a very long meeting, I don't think. So may I have a motion to adjourn the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting?
make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Okay, by Motion by Karen, seconded by Brent. Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries and meeting adjourned. The time is 6:50.